my father had been he played in Country Joe and the Fish and with Lightning Hopkins and with all these blues guys in Chicago. And then Country Joe and the Fish was kind of a big part of the 60s Bay Area music. My mom took me back east. My grandmother was there and my grandfather were there, and they were very helpful in raising me, and they were really into classical music. So I had kind of these two sides, this classical music side, very like traditional training, theory and, listening to Beethoven, Bach, Brahms, all the classics. And then I had also this kind of folk and blues thing because my grandfather had started Vanguard Records with his brother Maynard. So I think I can't put it on a single moment, but I feel like there were a series of inspiring concerts I saw. I mean, I could actually pick the first moment where I felt music like blooming literally like in my chest, like a physical feeling. I think I was 4 years old. I was like in summer camp. I was singing as part of like an ensemble with a bunch of other kids, and they had us do a round. And we were singing Boondiata. But it was like once the round kicked in and there were these different sort of harmonic layers, these counter melodies going, I felt this bloom. And I remember, so there it was, like 4 years old. I was like, this is working for me. I remember seeing Pete Seeger, when I was a kid, and I was like, wow, I was moved by him. I remember going and seeing, an orchestra play Mahler, just like exploding. I think in the 70s, I saw the Bee Gees. I was like, staying alive, boom. So I'm kind of equally moved by a variety of different genres. I still, to this day, my default probably is in the world of classical music. I listen to a lot of Stravinsky and a lot of Mahler. I listen to a lot of jazz. To me, that's kind of when I'm sitting around cooking, and it's my happy place. I listen to a lot of blues. So I'm a lover of all music.
Did you have a mentor at some point other than your family members who really made a big impact on you with regard to a music career?
It was a series of different things. It wasn't necessarily that I knew somebody. The first thing was, that band of mine, we were on the road. We had come back into the studio to work on our third record. We were with Atlantic Records. Atlantic Records said, there's somebody making a movie who needs an end title sequence. They brought the movie in. We worked to picture. I was like, wow, this is really fun. Like we're sort of painting with music to picture in time, like in a timeline. This is like really creative and collaborative and storytelling. Going back to my upbringing, like my grandma, used to sit with me and like play me like Peter and the Wolf and point out the themes of the different. Suddenly I was like, oh, this is that. But here we are like in a modern way, and it's fun. And the technical side of it's kind of fun too. I was intrigued by this.
How many hours did you use to record it?
I think we did it in a single day. Like an 8-hour day or something like that. The musicians were fantastic. I had the solo violinist and solo cellist like ahead of time. I gave them the parts so that, because some of them were kind of fast and complicated, so that they would come prepared. I think we got a great recording, and we just recorded, and we would go back. We would do each section. We split, the 4 movements into like 8 parts and did each part multiple times, and we would kind of go back, fine tune it. It really came together relatively quickly, and by the end, actually, we were like, well, now we've got a good sort of lexicon, how we talk about things, and everybody was pretty familiar with the piece. So we went back and kind of started from the beginning, and most of what got used is pretty much that last take. And we're trying to use it to raise money for climate action, because the symphony is about climate change through the lens of the 4 elements: earth, wind, fire, and water. And so we have partnered with Earth Percent, which is like Brian Eno's charity organization. And we are diverting any funds that we can to these climate action projects that they're doing. I had to keep it kind of lean so that any money that we make can go. That was the impetus for going there. I've actually recorded in Budapest a number of times because they have a good orchestra. And again, some of these projects are non-union and some are union. I had good experiences with them recording remotely. In this case, I got to go, which was great.